an orgasm as similar to climbing a mountain. And it's a big mountain, or at least it has the potential to be perhaps the biggest mountain that we've ever climbed. And in order to climb a mountain, it's kind of a big deal. And it's a good idea to be prepared, not only physically, but also mentally, and maybe energetically, perhaps even spiritually. During these heart to hearts, I feel an energetic, empathetic, and spiritual connection to myself and to the universe. And by being in this space, there's this spirit or vibe when a practice or a ritual is happening where it's hard to put into words. I feel aligned, and that allows for an experience of whatever is happening that is on a different level than the vibe of mainstream porn, which is out of alignment for values around safety, integrity, having the space to be human and have feelings and not be expected to fit into a script and a choreography that is deeply connected to the orgasm gap and the struggles that make it so difficult for us to experience pleasure in a deep, meaningful way. Doing something as simple as wearing clothing that is outside of what is normal has been challenging, and also it feels liberating to be intentional with what I do with my body and to not just fit into the boxes and the fabrics and the styles that try to separate us versus them and to determine who is normal and how we are supposed to dress, how we are supposed to love, how we are supposed to fuck, how we are supposed to make love. As if wearing these fabrics makes me somehow less desirable, less of a man, less fill in the blank, because it's breaking that really narrow stereotype of how men are supposed to show up when it comes to sex. What I find is the more space there is for creativity, for expressing, for resting and relaxing, to climb a big mountain, resting and emotional regulation are so important. Breathing. This is a reminder to breathe and to slow down. A really big mountain would be perhaps impossible to climb without slowing down and being intentional with movement. In mainstream porn, the movement is so often going through the motions and not really present as a priority. Having space to rest, to be silent, to do nothing can allow our nervous system to get to a safer place where we can experience our bodies in a way that may be beyond our imagination if we've been chronically stressed and in fight or flight mode when we're trying to access pleasure. How do we nourish our nervous system? Is that perhaps one of the most important ingredients in an orgasmic recipe? Having the space to be without pressure, to take the expectation or assumption of orgasming off the table. Ironically, maybe one of the most important ingredients in an orgasm. When we feel that pressure, it can be so much more difficult to be present and relaxed and experience pleasure in our bodies. And when the focus is no longer on the outcome, it allows this space to notice the little things, how it feels to breathe, how it feels to caress a nostril, a cheek, an upper lip, a lower lip. And if we combine touch with music that can also allow for experiencing our brain and our heart and our body in a way that may not be possible without the transformative power of music. I want to invite us into a journey of music, movement,